to the channel, everyone. Today, as you can see, we are at a Shell petrol station. I have just filled my car up with exactly, let's have a look, let me just turn the gangster out now, 51.17, 35 litres of petrol. Obviously, Shell, near a motorway, expensive. So, we're gonna get into this video. I'm gonna explain a few things about what it's like to run this car, what it's like on a daily basis. Now, today, you actually join me. We are going on a road trip. I'm going to put it in sport mode. Sport mode. That still gets me every time, but we're going to go through a few things about my RS3, now running 500 horsepower. I've done a couple of months of driving. I want to go through the actual price of ownership of this car, servicing, tyres, all that good stuff. But first, we'll do a little bit of motorway mileage. I've been up since 3:30, 4:45 this morning. I'm tired, but today is a very exciting day because we're actually road tripping this car to the vehicle wrapping centre where I'm dropping the car off, and when she comes back, guys, honestly, I'm so excited for this. You know, back when I had my X6, I quite like designing wraps for cars or co-designing them with very good wrappers at the end of the day. So me and the vehicle wrapping centre collaborated on this car, and I love the white. I know you guys love the white. I love a white RS3. It is in theory still saying white, but she's going for a full wrap. More on that later. Please stay till the end of the video to see a sneak preview as to what this car is actually going to look like when it comes back to my possession in a couple of weeks. But onwards to traffic, boring motorways, and we'll see how much MPG we can get out of the RS3. Why not? To interrupt today's video to say a massive thank you to today's sponsors, United Brothers. United Brothers specialise in rebuilding and selling projects such as exotic and luxury cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Maseratis, Aston Martins and more in California. They are buying cars from insurance auto auctions. They make sure that the cars run and drive with no problems. They check the suspension, undercarriage to make sure the car is not a lemon or a Mickey Mouse car. A lot of times when people are buying directly from auto auctions, they take a risk and the responsibility because the cars they're buying are based just on 10 pictures that they see. It's one thing to buy a car that's $10,000 from 10 pictures, but if you're buying a car for $110,000, basing it on 10 pictures may not be the way to do it. For high value cars, you're taking a big risk, and buying it directly from the auction means that United Brothers are there for you, no problems whatsoever. So you can buy one of your dream cars knowing full well that it is completely legit. They do have their own YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. Again, massive thank you to the guys at United Brothers for sponsoring this video, but let's get back to the action. Retain that MPG figure. Now, if you are younger and you're watching this video thinking, yes, I want to get into one of those, but I am worried about MPG and I'm worried about the cost, this is for you, this video, because I wish someone would have sat me down and actually explained a bit more behind actually the ownership, especially of driving this car and the costs that are involved. We know how much these are, especially the RS3 8Ps, to actually buy. You can go on eBay and find the face value of one of these quite easily, but the actual running costs of cars like this is something that isn't really touched upon most of the time. So now first I'm going to start with petrol costs. Now this is really down to how you drive a car. It's pretty self-explanatory really. You guys will know full well, if you are full chat in your car, you know full well the petrol gauge just goes to zero straight away. So I am probably 75% cruise in this car, if I'm honest, 25% B-road bash and enjoy, because I do a fair bit of mileage in this car. I do genuinely cruise more than I B-road bash, which is down to my driving at the end of the day. I am clearly on a motorway today as we come off to the A1 northbound. It is very relevant to how you drive. Now on the Isle of Wight where I live, you couldn't really do 70 for a long period of time to get your MPG figure up, so just before I actually went on this trip, I had done around 100 miles, and that had done 3/4 of a tank. That is town driving though. That's flipping through the gears in town, you know, just stop and start driving more than anything. So the MPG figure was around 8 to 19 MPG. Now you can take that as you wish. That is relatively good, I think, for something that is running a hybrid turbo with 500 horsepower. I'm just giving you my personal opinion as we stop at a massive queue. There's actually an S5 in front of me, which is interesting because I actually shot one of those, and it's a V8 with around 345 brake horsepower, and that was running around 14 to 15 MPG. So it's not necessarily how much power you actually have, because this has got the 2.5 litre turbocharged engine in it. When you're actually cruising, if I flick through the actual computer in front of me, we're doing 33 MPG on the motorway. 33 MPG, considering this has 500 horsepower and a hybrid turbo on the front of it with a high pressure fuel pump. You would think it would be doing a lot less than that, but I've been sat at the motorway speed limit for the past couple of hours, and it is retaining 33 MPG, which I'm really impressed with. That's why I have this car. Yes, it will do under 20 around town. I think anything with a turbocharger, if you're enjoying it, or a V8 if you're enjoying it, or even a V6 for that matter, if you are enjoying it, is going to retain that MPG figure. It will cost around 65 quid to fill up as well. I don't think that's too bad, considering super unleaded from where I'm from is about £1.30 at the moment. So to fill the whole tank up at £1.30 per litre is £65. Don't think that's too bad. Of course, if you're going to roam around all day, I will do that in a day or two quite easily. But as a road trip that I'm doing today to the vehicle wrapping centre to drop the car off, I've actually reached 230 miles on the odometer, and I still have, well, my clock is actually reading 160 miles left in the fuel tank, and we're between quarter of a tank and half a tank. Now I think that gauges a little bit more as to how I've been driving this thing today. I haven't necessarily been trying to save fuel, but I think on a longer run, doubling if not tripling your MPG figures in a car like this, a modified turbocharged 2.5 litre petrol engine. Now the servicing costs for stuff like this is the sort of prices that I've been experiencing while my ownership with the RS3. Now a servicing package, say from Audi, with a Haldex inspection, I looked it up the other day, and it's around £500. That's oil and service with a stamp in the book and all that genuine niceness, and that is an inspection on the Haldex. £500. Is it good? Is it bad? I know people may be like, oh, that's a lot of money, or they may be like, oh, my Audi dealership may charge more than that, but that was my local Audi dealership, and they would charge you £500 to do the Haldex and do a service. Now servicing this car can be done a lot cheaper than that. You can obviously buy oil yourself, you can buy a drain plug and do it yourself at home. Oil filter, it can be done on your driveway, but unfortunately we live in a world where a lot of people like service history, and it's completely understandable, especially with a highly tuned car like this. You're going to want to see some stamps and some service history that goes with this car. So that 500 quid, although it's servicing the car, is really down to you getting the stamp in the service book. And I think we all know that as a reality. When you go and buy a more high performance car, you're going to want to see the service book and see that it's been serviced by Audi. So we've ran through fuel costs on, say, this hybrid turboed RS3 that I currently own. We've done the servicing cost. Again, very self-explanatory. It's down to where you want it serviced and how you want it serviced. Now brakes, I haven't actually replaced the brakes on this car yet, but I'm not looking forward to it. Chances are they're going to be around 7, 8, 9, maybe in £1,000 to get the brakes and pads done on this car. Understandably, these have big brakes on them from the factory, so that is something to note, that if you do buy one, make sure it's either had discs and pads. Again, just like the whole servicing thing, it's very self-explanatory. If you can do your brakes at home, your pads and your rotors, it will be considerably cheaper. This is just going off, again, what I've looked up online and how much people are getting charged and how much parts are to actually keep one of these on the road. Now tyres is another thing. If you're going to put ditch finders on it, they're going to be 250 quid for a set. This is actually running the Goodyear Eagle F1 tyres at the moment. I had a quote at around £500. Yes, you could go and get them cheaper, and yes, they could be more expensive from another tyre fitter, but that was the general quote. Now, of course, if you're going to buy an M4, an M3, a C63, these prices will be completely different, but this is just a run through of what it's actually like to fund and drive one of these things. And this isn't to scare anyone away, but I want to be realistic about this car that I own. I want to feed my information and the costs back to you guys, because at the end of the day, if I was in my mid-20s and I really wanted one of these, which I did at the time, I didn't know how much it was to actually run one of these things. So a heads up for you guys is always good. Anyway, we're going to carry on to the vehicle wrapping center. Please make sure you carry on watching this video, because I'll reveal what the wrap that me and the vehicle wrapping center have actually come up with. I'm so excited, but I'm going to sit in a bit more traffic. We'll get there in a minute. So guys, I've made it to the vehicle wrapping center. As you can see behind me, the RS3 is about to get washed. It is incredibly windy, but I have the little sneak peek. Now, as you can see, this is the front bit of the back. Sorry about the wind, guys, and a bit, but you can see that we're going with a sort of rusty feel on the RS3, but I'm going to dedicate a full video to actually exposing what's happening with the RS3 with the guys again at the vehicle wrapping center. Make sure you give them a follow. I'm going to go inside, make another sole video of exactly what we've got concocted for this. It's going to be absolutely mental. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.